Hey everybody, so, oh my gosh, it's so freaking hot. Sorry, but, sorry for this glare right here. I have a window right there. Anyway, today I'm not going to be doing a tutorial. Instead, I'm going to be talking about how I started drawing in the anime manga style and why I draw the way I do. So, this might be a really long video, and I hope it's really interesting. You guys should tell me your stories too, because I think they're really interesting, why you came into the style that you draw. And if you see me looking down, it's because I have some notes. Okay, so a long time ago, when I was in like 4th or 5th grade, my parents bought this restaurant, and you know, they opened the restaurant. And like 2 doors down, there was a Japanese hobby shop, and they had on display and inside their store they would be playing like anime, and they would have displays of anime figurines and like Japanese figurines like Godzilla and Ultraman and etc. I don't really remember. I just remember those a lot. And then anyway, so one day they had in the display case this figurine and the packaging of Devil Hunter Yohko. I shall have to link it below, a link of the image. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like it, because, you know, back then I was so used to watching like American cartoons and stuff. So anyway. So every day after that, I would steal some paper placemats that we had and steal a pen and go over there. And during the hobby shop's closing hours, my brother and I would like lean up against the window and try to imitate whatever we were trying to draw. Like I said, I was trying to draw the Devil Hunter Yohko. My brother was trying to draw Godzilla and stuff. By the way, my brother is an awesome artist. He draws so much better than I do, but he draws more realistic and technical type things than I can. I can't really do that. Anyway, so one day one day they purchased, I don't know, a Street Fighter 2 arcade console, and that was when it first came out. So I know I'm really that old, but it's true, I am that old. When it first came out, they bought one, or rented, whatever. And my brother and I became obsessed with that game, and we would go there all the time. We would, like, beg my parents for quarters so we could play. Anyway, so I would try to imitate the art from memory, but of course I couldn't, and we didn't have internet back then, so... and then one day, we found an Asian comic shop, like a few blocks down, and we saw some Street Fighter 2 comics. They were like, you know, the Chinese comics and the Japanese manga and stuff. And my brother and I would save up our money, and we purchased like one. And we would share between us every other day or whatever, and I would imitate the art. That was the first time I saw Chibi, and I was like trying to imitate a Chibi Chun-Li for like the longest time. I think I can actually draw it from memory right now, the drawing I had. I shall try. No, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so for that, the rest of that year, I would draw nothing but Street Fighter and Devil Hunter Yohko, or whatever they would have on display there. But that was, you know, that was just the full extent of drawing anime at that time. And then I stopped drawing for, I think, like 2 years. I believe 2 to 3 years. When I was in 7th grade, I met 2 people who were into anime, and one was into shonen and one was into shoujo. I met the person that liked shonen first, and she saw some of my quick style doodles, and she showed me some Ranma half trading cards, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like it. So she let me borrow them, and I would try to imitate Ranma half for like forever. And the funny thing is, like, for the next few years after that, I never saw Ranma. I saw Ranma like recently, so yeah. Anyway, so I tried to imitate drawing Ranma for a long time, and then I met, near the end of my 7th grade year, I met the person that likes shoujo, and she saw my art with, you know, the Ranma art, and she introduced me to SailorMoon. And that was when it first came out in Japan, not in the US, but in Japan. And she had trading cards too. I'm like, dude, where are you getting all these trading cards, right? So they all brought me to the places that had the trading cards, and I bought my own. Anyway, so she also helped me buy some of the manga, and I was like, I've never seen anything like this, because all the anime that I had seen before, which wasn't that much, was all the shonen style, I guess. Why am I doing this? I'm sorry, it's distracting. Yeah, it was all the shonen style, and that was my first shoujo style thing. And I would try to imitate the manga, some of the image drawings from the manga. So after in 8th grade, the 3 of us decided to start our own comic, and because I was drawing so much of the shoujo style, it's kind of stuck even now. And what else happened? She also, the person that introduced me to shoujo, also introduced me to Magic Knight Rayearth, so I should kind of say Clamp. Old Clamp. I love old Clamp. I don't like any of their new stuff. But anyway, I didn't really like Clamp style back then, because I was so used to the kind of generic style that was like SailorMoon and Ranma half and Double Hunter Yohko. Because around that time it was kind of generic. That was all you saw. And then Magic Knight came out, and it was like, whoa, it is so different. The art style is so different. And I wasn't really into it. Around this time also was when I discovered another Japanese hobby shop that was on my way home, because I lived like an hour and a half away by bus. And anyway, so I found this place, and I bought my first anime by myself. Yay! And it was called Project Echo. You should look it up. It was, I can't believe I bought it. It's kind of lame now. Anyway, and I started drawing noses the way I did before, which is like this. And I don't know if you can see that. That's how I used to draw noses. I'm not kidding. I drew noses like that because of Project Echo. Because sometimes when you watch the anime, sometimes their noses would be like that. And I was like, oh, I want to try doing that, because I don't like how I draw noses. But because of that, it's stuck. So I started drawing noses like this for about 10 years. I'm not even kidding. I drew noses like this for 10 years. And people didn't like them, of course. Anyway, so it didn't fit with how the generic manga style that I was drawing, so I started kind of getting into the Magic Knight. I started getting into Magic Knight, and I started drawing the giant eyes because of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love how Clamp draws. Back then, I don't like I said, I don't like their new stuff. So I drew eyes like that for also the same amount of years that I drew the noses. I stopped drawing for a bit, just like a few months, because I just moved to a different town for school and stuff. And I don't know, around this year was the year I started getting so many different ideas because I didn't have any entertainment. I had no manga, I had no TV, I had no radio, I had nothing. Sorry, distracting by outside people. And so I came out with a few ideas. The first one was copies, formerly known as copies, which is now life to the second power. I only came up with the idea. I didn't want to draw it yet because for that I wanted to draw in a more realistic style, and I wanted to perfect my art or make it better than it was back then, than when it was back then. So I only, I kind of just worked on the story, but not really the art. And then one day, when I was at school, and I had like so much time before the bus came, because those buses, so stupid. If you missed the bus, which I did, you had to wait an hour and a half. So I found a local comic store that was like a little nearby the bus stop, kind of near the bus stop, whatever. And they had some manga, and one of the mangas I saw was Tomie by Junji Ito, which I love, and it was a horror manga, and I've never seen a horror manga before. That was my first time. And I read it at the bus stop, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this thing. And after that, I wanted to draw a horror manga so badly, and that was when I came up with the idea for Alphabet. And if you don't know what Alphabet is, I did a prologue for it, and I kind of made a video on it, kind of, I guess. I shall link it below, or here somewhere. And anyway, so I decided to work on that for a bit, and I tried to change my style, because back then I had those clamp eyes and the weird triangle nose, and yeah, it didn't look right. So one day I was on DeviantArt searching for stuff. I don't know what I was looking for. Oh, I think I was looking for inspiration to try to change my style to draw in a more dark style, I guess. And I found this one artist who doesn't have a site anymore, so I can't link you, so I'm sorry. But he drew tons of dark anime manga style stuff, and it was so awesome. I loved it. I started to imitate his style because I loved his style, how he drew eyes, and the mood of his art. I don't know, I can't really explain it. I wish I could show you. Anyway, so that is how I started drawing eyes like the way I do now. And let me show you the first drawing I ever did with those eyes. I think I shall include it now. Okay, so after that, I was like, oh, I love this style. So I tried drawing like horror type art, dark art, just to practice. So then, okay, around that time was when Tokyo Pop started like really producing more translated manga, and they came out with Paradise Kiss by Ayazawa. And of course I got one. I got Paradise Kiss. And I loved the art. Seriously loved the art. It was kind of realistic, but kind of not. And that was exactly how I wanted my Life to the Second Power to look. Of course, I tried imitating it, and, came out different, of course. That's how I, if you look at my drawing styles, I have 3 different styles. I have the regular one that you guys always see when I do tutorials. I have the Life to the Second Power one, and I have that really generic one that I draw when I do like really simple comic strip type things, like the 2H Daily and the Destination Fabrication stuff. Anyway, that was just rambly. So after I saw Ayazawa's stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to imitate this. And I tried so hard. And you know how I draw noses now? You know, like this. Like this. I don't know if you can see it. The ones that everybody's always complaining about in my videos. Well, if you look at Ayazawa's art, she draws noses like that. And that's how I got it from. I got it from her. Of course, you know, hers are much smaller and better looking. If I remember saying why I draw curly hair the way I do, because I've done this video like 20 times, I'm not even kidding. So I draw hair, the curly hair the way I do right now. It's because of Clamp, because of Magic Knight Rayearth. When they drew Princess Emorade's hair, whatever her name is, I was imitating her hair, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've never drawn curly hair before, and I want to draw curly hair like this from now on, and that is how I started drawing curly hair. So when I started coloring I used to color, like I was saying in my other videos, I used to color only with color pencils. And one day I was like, oh, I've never colored with, when I color hair, I can't seem to color the shiny hair stuff. And I don't know, it's just not coming out right. So one day I was just bored, and I was looking on the internet when it was really not that popular back then. And I found some art from Nanase. I think that's how you say her name. And I saw this one drawing, and I decided to copy it, but put my character in it, because like my character kind of looks like her and whatever. And then I colored it. I didn't have any color pencils with me or whatever. I only had a dry erase. I had dry erase markers because I was at my parents' restaurant when I drew it. And when I colored it, I was copying how the color of the hair was. I guess I can't really explain it. And then after I colored like that, that was the first time I did the hair shinies. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the first time I've done hair shinies. And I've colored with markers for hair like that ever since. And of course, you know, I don't know, I changed it a bit by layering colors and stuff, but that was the first time I ever did the hair shiny thingy. If that makes sense. So all my influences, why I started drawing anime manga style, Street Fighter 2, Devil Hunter Yohko. Why I draw mostly in the shoujo style, SailorMoon and Magic Knight Rayearth. Why I draw weird noses, Ayazawa. Why I draw eyes the way I do right now, it's because of Ayazawa and the person I followed on DeviantArt. So, I guess that's it. This video is really long, and I hope it was interesting. You guys should try and do your own video on how you started drawing in your style, and tell me how you started drawing in the anime manga style and why you draw in the style that you do, because I think it's really interesting. And yeah, I guess that is it. So I am sorry this video is so rambly and my hands are going woo all the time. I'm kind of hyper too, and if I sound stuffy because I have a cold. As for the person waiting on the how to draw curly hair, I'm so sorry. I'm still working on that. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to explain it, because when I draw it, I just draw it. I don't think about how to explain it, so I'm still trying. Sorry. Okay, that's it. Bye.